Today I'm going to share with you how to make a successful video about Sword Art Online. Step 1. Make a video about Sword Art Online. Step 2. Make a title that doesn't suck, that isn't Sword Art Online review. You win. You're done. I bring this up because a new Sword Art Online movie is coming out soon, and there's probably going to be the third season, which is, it's already been announced and confirmed, but it'll probably come not too long after this movie releases. And I'm kind of excited because, ripping on Sword Art Online, aside from being a great pastime, is also something that I'm kind of known for. I kind of built my image around it a little bit. And over time, it's become very popular to do that, to shit on Sword Art Online, and as a result, there's now a huge backlash against shitting on Sword Art Online. There's a lot of people who resent that it's such a thing that happens, and the reason that people have so much resentment for it is that it seems like it's just a good way to get popular on YouTube. It's just a good way to have a successful video. Say Sword Art Online sucks shit ass, and you're gonna get 100,000 views minimum, But the thing is that while that is true, it's not because you're talking shit about Sword Art Online, it's because you're talking about Sword Art Online, one of the most popular anime ever made that is relevant to virtually everyone. Now, an eye-catching title is always a good thing. It's always a good idea, And rage is a very fast way to make people want to click on something. But the thing about a controversial series is that rage goes both ways. If you make a video called "Everyone's Wrong About Sword Art Online, It's Actually Great," that's going to turn as many heads as it would otherwise. And if you sound smart and you make a good point, then that video is going to be successful. The problem is that the reason that there's mostly negative opinions about Sword Art Online is because most people who can actually write a convincing video are intelligent and therefore don't like Sword Art Online because you have to be a fucking idiot. I'm kidding. But anyways, if I really wanted to make a clickbait video, I know that it's going to happen when Sword Art Online, when the new ones come out and I decide to cover it because, I get reinvigorated and want to talk about it again, then people are going to say, you're just doing this for clickbait. And my response is going to be, if I really wanted to really have an explosively clickbait video, I'd come out strong in defense of Sword Art Online. I would come out saying that all the haters are wrong and that they're all being pedantic, and I'd point out all these interesting things, these interesting layers to the story, because you can do this with any story. You can spin any story to make it sound good. Because the reason people like a show like Sword Art Online is because there are things to like about it if the things that are bad about it don't distract you. If you don't hate all the bad elements and you mostly pay attention to the good ones, you're going to like the show. If you don't care about those elements that other people like and you really care about the things that are bad about it, you're going to hate the show, This is true of every show. This is why there is no objective good or bad in any case, because someone can always spin it to sound like it's a great show or a negative show. It's really just about what you put weight on, What do you care about in storytelling? Obviously, Sword Art Online breaks a lot of what I care about in storytelling, so I hate it. Now, the reason I talk about Sword Art Online and talk shit about it is because it is fucking hilarious to me. It is the funniest thing in the world. Because me and my brother have hated this show for, for a long time, and shitting on it has been kind of a pastime. It's not something I do just for the internet. We talk shit about Sword Art Online all the time, randomly. For me, it's it is the symbol, the benchmark of this certain type of show that I have such a big problem with. It's my go-to example for all these problems I have with modern anime. So it's like a perfect poster child. And because it's so fucking popular, it's always relevant to bring it up. All the time in my videos, I'll use Sword Art Online as a negative example of something, and people have, brought it up why does it always have to be Sword Art Online? Because everyone knows what I'm talking about if I talk about Sword Art Online. Everyone's seen it. Everyone knows it. Either you've watched it because you enjoyed it, or you know about it as an example of a not great show because you're someone who wouldn't like it, but you know why you wouldn't like it. Everyone knows about it. It's one of the most popular anime ever made. Now, if you need more evidence to back up these claims I'm making, I mean, just look at what happens when you have conflicting opinions about other controversial popular shows. My video saying that Erased sucked got a ton of hits, and so did every video that Mother's Basement made about Erased. They all got just as many. They were all positive. They were all sucking its dick, you know? Same giant amount of hits, because it was just a popular show. ReZero. I make a video about ReZero, gets a decent amount of hits. Mother's Basement makes a bunch of defensive videos about ReZero. They have a bunch of hits. If you're covering a show everyone cares about, everyone's going to watch it. And, you know, you don't have to be negative to be clickbait. Anything can be clickbait. Any opinion can be clickbait if you just phrase your title correctly. Now, I promise you that this video is going to have significantly more views than most of what's on this channel. I'm going to put my money down on between 40 to 50,000 views within the first 3 or 4 days. That's my bet. Why? Because the title has Sword Art Online in it, and it sounds somewhat like, ooh, he's proving something. He's trying to make a point, you know, about SAO and about video making, about YouTube. And it's going to have a Sword Art Online thumbnail on it. It's not just going to be my face. It's going to be a thumbnail of SAO. And that's enough. It doesn't matter what this video's stance is or what it's about, what its opinion of SAO is. SAO's in the title. SAO's in the thumbnail. You know, one of the biggest videos on this channel is an 18-minute vlog that's just like this, just me talking at a camera, drunk. And it's called Why SAO is Better Than Ass War. It doesn't even say Sword Art Online. Why SAO is better than Ass War. And it just has a thumbnail of the Kirito and Asuna swords in the ground. I think it's got over 100,000 views. If you talk about the show, you're gonna get the views. So don't feel like everyone's just being negative for the sake of, you know, making money. We're talking about the show for the sake of making money, but, you know, whatever stance you take, it doesn't matter. Any stance will be big, especially if you're already a big YouTuber. You know, people just want to hear me talk about SAO because they've heard me talk about it before. It would not matter what my stance is. Even if I came out and said, you know, like Mr. Plinkett talking about Star Wars, like, people are so used to hear, like, people care about his opinions of Star Wars so much that when he puts out a video about, say, The Force Awakens, then he didn't even really, like, rag on it. He was just like, you know, and it doesn't matter. He talked about the thing. That's the hits. So anyway, I probably will eventually start shitting on SAO again if it gets hype again. Because for me, when I made my first SAO video, I didn't know the show was popular, like in that way. I didn't know it was controversial. I thought everyone loved it. So when people agreed with me that it was bad, I was like, oh, well, this is a pleasant surprise, you know? And then the second season, it seemed like people were praising it again, so I attacked it again. When people agreed with me again, I went, I guess a lot of people don't like the show. And then over time, it's become that, like, nobody likes it, apparently, even though there's a ton of people who love the show and who would be so fucking ready for someone to defend it. If someone came out and convincingly defended the show, every fan of the show would watch that video and would share it with all their friends. And that's another thing. Shareability goes up exponentially when you agree with consensus opinion. Like, if most people who watch the video agree with it, they're going to be way more likely to show it to their friends, you know, to say, like, this guy finally proved it. Fuck you, everyone I'm trying to beat in an argument online, you know. Yeah, anyways. That.